I'm so happy to be here today talking to you um, about how to get more clients. It's really like quite an obsession. I feel like I don't know how I ended up doing this in my life, but certainly helping service businesses be able to identify leads and build this relationship and convert them into clients is really like kind of a big process. And I don't know, I kind of into it for some reason. So I was thinking something came up recently and I had this idea to talk about how to use your email list um, along with LinkedIn in collaboration with LinkedIn to get more clients. Okay. And I'm really excited to talk about this today because I feel like it's such this untapped opportunity. I know it happens all the time with my clients. It happens for myself too, where I have all of these leads, so to speak. I have these connections. And if I just engage with them, if I just see who's already there, often that can turn, those people will turn into clients. Okay. So just really quickly, you're going to see connectchallenge.co. If you're watching this on video, you're going to see it at the bottom of the screen. If you're listening to the audio version, it's in the notes. I'm running a LinkedIn Connect Challenge on February 5, 6, and 7. And I'm going to kind of do a similar thing that I'm doing today, which is kind of prompt you to see what opportunities you have to within your existing network, right? What we already have going on to generate more clients. Okay, so it's kind of like how do I challenge you in certain key areas? In this case, connections, conversations, and content to really just invigorate your pipeline, to get people to move through it, to figure out who might be a client, and really to accelerate your sales cycle because it's taken a long time for people to make a decision to hire, right? 6-9 months, I mean, minimum. And if you want to, right now, of course, it's just so slow coming off of the kind of a different experience, 2022 to 2023, and these kinds of tips that I'm going to show you in the challenge and even today are there to kind of invigorate you to realize that you probably have opportunities that you just need to reach out to. All right. So let's go back to, I don't know, 2010? No, 2005? Oh gosh, now I'm like totally confused. 2000, yeah, maybe 2005. I don't know. Don't ask. It was a long time ago. But this is when I first had a sales job. Okay. And back in the day, there were people with Rolodexes on their desk. Okay. Now, if you don't know what a Rolodex is, you can Google it. Or if you look at the screen, if you're watching the video version, I put a picture of it. And there was this one director in particular. Okay. Now this was sales. He had this multiple Rolodexes like at the end of his desk. So he was in this big chair and there was this big desk. And then at the end of it, just lined up, right? I think maybe he had like 4 or 5. And they were all these Rolodexes with all these little cards, with all these names and these phone numbers, because, okay, email wasn't even really almost a thing then. And he would reach out and he'd find the person and then he would pick it out and he would call like in his big phone, right? Anyway, like big phone. We literally had big phones then. Okay. So I was thinking about this. I often think about this because at the time, of course, contact information was like not very easy to find, right? Like, it was literally why he had a Rolodex. And he was very protective of that Rolodex, right? I mean, today there's information everywhere. Like getting somebody's contact information isn't that hard, right? Either through like Zoom info, through all, LinkedIn, through websites, through Google, through all these databases that you can buy into. Like contact information today is not a big deal, really. Okay. But if and maybe back then it was more of a, he was more protective of those numbers. But let me just say this. If I had gone into his office and I sneaked in and I had gone to the letter H or whatever, and I had stolen a Rolodex card of somebody I wanted to call, Okay, it sounds like some like 1980s movie. But anyway, so I go in there, let's say, and I called this person, Mr. H. What would happen? Nothing. Probably nothing. It would be really hard. And here's why. Because even though I had the phone number, I didn't have a relationship. Right? This director had like a 20-year relationship with this person. And so that person, Mr. H, is going to pick up immediately and have a conversation. But I did not have a relationship. What is my point? My point is this. Okay, my point is this. Information is cheap. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, it's not that valuable in a sense, right? What is valuable? What matters isn't the information. What matters is the relationship. What matters is the relationship. And I don't mean like you know someone's kids' names or you were invited to their wedding. None of that. I'm just simply saying together, having a collaborative relationship around solving your prospect's problem. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. And I think over the last couple of years, everyone's just gotten so distant from each other. Like, okay, I'm just gonna like send emails, and somehow people are gonna, become clients. Let me explain. Let me tell you a second story on the same topic, right? So the other day, I got an email from somebody who was saying, hey, my friend's doing this masterclass on how to run a webinar, a converting webinar, meaning you show up to the webinar, you listen, and then you buy something or you join a program or something like that. So it was kind of random, but I clicked on it. And so then all of a sudden, of course, I get a stream of emails. Okay, you know what that's like, right? You download a guide, you download some kind of, you sign up for an event. And what happens? What happens is you get a bunch of emails and it's like, thanks for subscribing, thanks for signing up. And then I will say there was maybe like one or two that I kind of read because I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting. Like, this is kind of valuable. But then I kind of forgot. And I literally could not tell you this person's name. I literally could not tell you this person's name. But then like 2 weeks later, I got an email and it said like, oh, what's up? Like, would love to talk to you. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so weird, right? Like, this is so weird to me. It's just, we all know how many emails we get. Like, it's impossible. It's literally impossible, right? To get people's attention these days. And so I guess I want to present a situation to you, a scenario to you, which is, let's just say, again, I literally do not know this person's name. Let's say her name is Claire. I'm going to make it up. Let's say Claire, for example, actually goes to LinkedIn and it's like, hey, I see you have interest in my webinar, or hey, I see you downloaded my guide or whatever. Now, all of a sudden, I'm like, my brain is connecting the dots. I'm like, oh, okay, so Claire in my LinkedIn and Claire on my email. And all of a sudden, I have greater connectivity to this person. Right? Connecting is the word here. We're connecting on email, we're connecting on LinkedIn personally. And all of a sudden, let's say, Claire goes to my LinkedIn profile and she knows these things about me. And all of a sudden I can go to Claire's profile and learn more about her, right? Because all of a sudden she becomes more of a human when we're on, when I see her on LinkedIn. All right. So I just feel so strongly that it is such a missed opportunity when people have these email lists. However they end up on there, those are the people on your list who have already raised their hand and said, hey, whatever you're talking about is interesting to me. I want to really make this so simple for you, which is literally, if somebody is on your list, right? What if you just found them on LinkedIn and connected with them, right? And now you've kind of got a double layering thing going on. I mean, hey, if they're also on Instagram, go connect with them on Instagram, follow them on Instagram. Because if we don't try to build a one-to-one relationship conversation, what we're doing is we're relying on those emails to nurture, which I get it, right? You're like, we want the emails, those are super important. But we're putting so much reliance on generating clients, but we have to rely on them opening the email. I don't know about you, but I have like thousands of emails. I have like 23,000 probably unread emails in my inbox right now. They have to open it, they have to read it. And then that copy has got to be amazing for them to actually get to the bottom of the email, right? To actually not just go to the next email or respond to the, text they got, or, suddenly remember they have to call somebody or whatever, right? The level of distraction is mind-boggling. So just my goal for you in this is to really just do this very simple thing. And you really are going to be able to maximize the leads that have already raised their hand, that have already demonstrated interest in whatever topic you talk about, whatever problems you solve, and you're building that relationship with them. Now, I'm not saying you go connect and you go pitch. That is not what I'm talking about. But this concept of connecting, right, which is I have developed the connect method, is what I call it. We have to connect at different stages of their decision-making process and different platforms even. We have to emotionally connect. We have to social media connect. We have to problem solution connect. Because if we're not doing that, if we're not creating, that like kind of attention, it's going to be very difficult for you to close that client. And absolutely, from the sales cycle perspective, as I was mentioning, it's going to take a long time. If you have someone in your email list and you never contact them, I mean, at some point, maybe they're never going to open your emails, but maybe it'll take 3 years. But if you start building a one-to-one relationship, and if you cannot do it, get somebody on your team, right, to do that. But just engage with people, show them that you're there. Okay. So just super important. This will apply if you are a solopreneur. This will apply if you are a large sales organization, right? How do we begin to, especially on the consultative sales side, like there is absolute benefits of connecting on LinkedIn, because we're talking about self-reported information from both parties. And we're talking about having a conversation in the direct messages, which is a one-to-one conversation versus a one-to-many in email. We start treating people like they're actually humans, and nobody's doing that. So if you're actually just starting with a connection on LinkedIn, that's a great starting point. All right, so here's what to do. Here it is. If you have a email list of like less than 200, I seriously recommend you go through every single person and just like see who's in there. You think it would take a long time, but it doesn't, I promise you. And what you can do is you can go one by one, and hopefully you have their last name. You go find them on LinkedIn, okay? And here's what you say. It's very simple. Hi. And then you put their name. Make sure you send a personalized note, okay, on LinkedIn. Don't do the template. Thanks for being a subscriber to my newsletter. Would love to connect here on LinkedIn. And then sign it. Let me say that again. This is like literally how simple it is. Hi, June. Thanks for being a subscriber to my newsletter. Would love to connect here on LinkedIn. Now, if you're already connected, then you could say, hey, I saw you subscribe to my newsletter. Like, let me know if you have any questions. Or, hey, I saw that you subscribed to my newsletter. Like, what's going on with, like in my case, I might say like, how are things going with you on LinkedIn? You see what I'm saying? Okay, another example. If you want to get fancy, hi, June. Thanks for being a subscriber to my newsletter. I see you live in Cleveland. I lived there for 5 years. Would love to connect here on LinkedIn. So you're going to say, thanks for being a subscriber. So they know where you're, why you're, what the connection is. And then you could say something personal. Would love to connect. Okay. So you're trying to show that you are a human. If you just say, hi, June, thanks for being a subscriber to my newsletter. Would love to connect you on LinkedIn. It can sound like a copy paste. It can sound like a bot. So your acceptance rate is going to be lower, right? And chances are they may not remember that they subscribe to your newsletter. Okay, so adding a little personal thing, but it doesn't mean you pitch. It doesn't mean you ask a question. It doesn't mean any of that. It just is basically showing how you know each other, and then maybe something personal if you want to get fancy. Go through all of your emails, email subscribers, and just connect with them on LinkedIn. And what does that do? All of a sudden, you've got a situation where people can like learn something personal about you, right? They all of a sudden they're like, oh, they can realize that, your background. They can basically start getting your content, right? You have the ability then to message them directly. And you're in a position where, you have multiple ways of conversing with this person, okay? It's just all of a sudden you become human, like with a personal background and life, and the other person does the same. And it just changes the game in that regard. All right. So what I will just add is that if you have a large list, I don't know, you have 10,000 people, you have 3,000 people. If we're talking larger companies, that's going to look different. But just to say, if you don't know this about your email list, is that you can actually filter your list by people who are who engage the most, excuse me. So for example, let's say you have 3,000 subscribers, you could just go to this is for most email providers. You could just say, hey, I want to know, who's most active, or who, like, for example, if you have 3,000, maybe only 1,000 people have actually opened your email in the last year. I mean, that could be totally possible. So I'm just saying you can do by clicks in the last 6 months, or somebody, you're not going to necessarily go to all 3,000. So you do want to focus on the people who have been most active in your email list. And that is A, clicks, and B, open rates. Okay. The whole process of sales is qualifying. It's all about basically, there's all these people and we want to figure out who might make a good client. And part of that process is, the first step, you've already done the amazing work of getting people on your newsletter, become an email subscriber. This is a huge thing. Congratulations. This is a big deal. I know every time I get a subscriber, I'm like, yes. Okay. But something about me, something about my message, something about the things that I do, the solutions I provide has prompted this person to either access a guide that I have, or join a webinar, or, just want to be on my newsletter and learn more about solutions I provide. It's not about me, right? About like them, the solutions to their problems. And, but taking it to the next level is just so powerful. And again, I'm going to say this is like the third time I'm saying this, it will accelerate your sales cycle. Okay. Because you probably have opportunities in there that are not being invigorated, if you will, for maybe lack of a better word. All right. So again, if you have let me just rephrase that. So just to say, if you have 3,000, subscribers, just make sure you're looking at who's most active. That's probably a good idea. And connect with them. And now you've got an ability for them, not just to get your emails, but they can also see, in some cases, depending on the algorithm, your content on the platform of LinkedIn. Okay. So huge missed opportunity, but also huge opportunity to really make more of what you've already got. People always talk about like, I need more leads. I'm like, well, do you yes, probably always, but at the same time, it's like the whole Rolodex image. It's like, I could have a Rolodex of I could have 5 Rolodexes of 500 people each. But if I'm not actually talking to them, if I'm not engaging with them, right, then what's the point? Right? And what's the point? And also, I will just, and this is so obvious, but I'm going to say it. In the case of Rolodexes, there was just the only opportunity you had to connect with your clients was literally the phone, unless you were going to meet them in person. So now we have email, now we have, LinkedIn, and you can build that relationship. And just to reiterate one more time, relationship isn't necessarily knowing their names and going to the weddings or anything like that, but it's a relationship around helping them solve their problem. Okay. All right. So I hope that was helpful. I'm so excited for you, because I know that if you just get off of this recording and you go do it, and you just block out a half a day, just block out 2 hours just to get yourself in there, see what's what, connect with some people and see where that can take you. you will, we need to not rely on marketing. We need to not rely on that passive marketing, if you will, and really get more actively into conversations. So if you want to learn more opportunities to reach if you want to learn more ways that you can tap into the untapped opportunities that you already have using LinkedIn, I really think this challenge that I'm running on February 5, 6, 7 will be of value to you. It will be time well spent. I know how valuable your time is. So if you are if you're listening or watching this before Feb 5, 6, 7, please go to connectchallenge.co, sign up. I would love to have you there. And I can guarantee you that if you sign up, I'm going to then find you on LinkedIn and either connect with you or message you, because that's the way it's done, my friends. That's the way it's done. All right. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm excited if you actually take action on this, it's just all there for the taking. Message me and let me know how it goes. You can find me on LinkedIn, Selena Guerrero. You know where to find me. All right. Take care, everybody. Bye.